Unacademy. Let's crack it.
I started my CA. My CPT was in December 2016. My IPCC was November 2017, and my CA final was November 2020. So I was someone who had no idea that they wanted to do CA. So a few other things like going to foreign universities did not work out, and luckily I started doing my chartered accountancy, and here I am today with a rank in the final examinations. So I would probably say and compare my journey to that of a roller coaster, where I've had so many ups and downs, which every single CA student actually has throughout their journey itself. So to compare it and to throw more light, I also did my undergraduation from Christ University in Bangalore. So I've done regular college. I've probably done articleship from a Big Four itself. So this is something where I feel that I've gone over and out of my comfort zone, where I've moved from my hometown Chennai to Bangalore, stayed alone for 3 years, done college, done articleship, and that's molded me as a person today. And I think that determination to succeed is what drove me to finish all of these three levels in the first attempt itself. So, to probably people watching out today, you might not have to be the smartest in the room to clear these exams. All you need is a determination and willpower to put through, and make sure that you finish it off at one go, because the people who you're studying with and going to classes with itself might probably get it done, and you don't want to be left behind. So to probably summarize, I'd say that a fear of failure also pushed me beyond the horizon, and that is probably why I am where I am today. So CA as a whole is seen as a lucrative option for anyone who probably likes mathematics and accountancy, because the world of accounting and financial reporting always fascinated me. I liked all these accounting standards that we probably start to learn at foundation level itself, and I wanted to understand and expand my horizon through other fields down the line. So I felt being a very reputed course, finishing the course itself would give me probably more options to deal with, say investment banking or consulting down the line. So the first thing is, like I mentioned, right, the determination to get it done with and not have a backlog. So I've always been someone who's wanted to push myself to the last possible limit and ensure that I get it done. And very, very importantly, it's early planning, because a lot of people who attend the CA papers, right, they wake up probably 3 months before the exam and realize that they don't have a plan in place. So I made sure that I planned 6-9 months in advance, probably 4 months in advance for foundation, 6 months in advance for inter, and a year and a half in advance for final. And that really helped me, because I was able to ensure that in those 1.5 years for final, for example, I knew each and every day what my timetable was or what my schedule was. And that I feel a lot of people lack when they're probably planning or in their preparation itself. And that is something that I probably pride myself on doing really well. A lot of people go behind the number of hours that one has to study. They feel that if they do 12 hours of effective studying, they'll clear the exams and get the rank. Sadly, that is not the case. So there is something I'd like to bring forward here called time versus task orientation, where people tend to move towards finishing 12 hours. Rather, you should be focused on finishing certain tasks. For example, I need to get subject A, B, C done today, and not sit for 10-12 hours a day, right? So one thing that I actually did was plan it this manner. I would probably take 3 subjects a day for CA final and ensure that if I got that done in 6 to 8 hours, my day is done. I don't have to necessarily sit for 12 hours and finish the same thing. I'd probably move ahead for the next, whatever I've planned for next, right? So yes, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to, or there's no thumb rule as such for the number of hours. Make sure that you allocate tasks and not time. So that's very important, I'd say. So to give you a brief timeline of where I was in my second year of college when I wrote my intermediate or IPCC. And articleship started towards my fourth semester in college. For the next 1 year, I had zero idea on what CA final was, or what the subjects even were. I made sure that I enjoyed the first 1 year of articleship to actually go enjoy work, learn statutory audit where I did my articleship, and also partake in college activities as much as I could. Once my college got over in 2019, I had about a year and a half for my CA final attempt. That was when I immersed myself completely. So to take a step back, this is the 1.5 years I mentioned, from May 2019 to November 2020. I had a detailed plan for every single day on what I had to do. So attending classes was one thing, and the number of revisions that go into it has to be at least 3 revisions, which is probably dedicated after you finish classes. And this is apart from the 1.5 days that you probably study before each exam. So overall, I would say I did 4 dedicated revisions before I wrote the actual paper. So this is a very, very often asked question in terms of how do you manage a Big Four and classes, for example, right? So I was lucky enough to actually have certain clients where it would be very hectic for a month or two, where I would have to miss classes, because ultimately articleship does take precedence over classes, because they probably don't get the fact that you have to go to classes in the morning and in the evening, right? So there were times where I had to miss classes and I covered it up later. There were also other days where work was pretty okay. I would probably leave office at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. itself, right? So the notion that Big Four articleship is very hectic is not always the case. There will be off season and on season where you are working really hard, and there are days when you don't work a lot, right? So the key is balancing these two and ensuring that whatever you miss out in the peak season is taken up in the off season. So that's something that I made sure that if my plan was hit by say a month or so, I would compensate it by doing it at a later stage. So I'll probably put out a disclaimer here when I say, so the difference between a Big Four and a mid-sized firm, right? In a Big Four, you get to specialize only in a particular field. For example, it could be direct taxation or statutory audit or internal audit. In a mid-sized firm, you probably get to work in a variety of fields because the exposure you get there is across multiple areas. Now, coming back to your question about how does one prepare for the interviews, once you finish your intermediate exams, these firms have specific locations. It's either in a metro city or in a tier 2 city. So you have to apply to your nearest probably location that you can apply to. The interview process is mostly your intermediate portions itself. So if you're well versed in understanding your accounting, law, audit, and your direct taxation, you should be more than well equipped to crack the interviews. And I feel that one thing that intermediate students lack is confidence, because they've probably just been to CA classes for the last 1 year. So the minute you get done with your exams and before your articleship interview date starts, prepare and communicate as effectively as possible, because all they want is confidence at that point of time. And that really matters. And if that does happen, you're good to go and you will crack the interview. So this is actually, so a lot of people don't realize the fact that even if you're a ranker, you will actually struggle to find really good jobs. It is a preconceived notion that someone has gotten a rank in final and they have multiple job offers coming in. Sadly, that is not the case, right? I personally wasn't sure on what I wanted to pursue after clearing. So getting a rank was something I wasn't expecting either. So all of a sudden I had a rank and I had multiple openings available to which I can apply to. So to cut it short, the process was definitely not easy because you have very limited opportunities for CA rank holders to get into. What I mean by this is there are management trainee roles, management consultancy roles, investment banking, and you can also probably go work in startups like where I am today. So the first thing is understanding who you are and what you want to do in life. I realized that I wanted to work in a startup because I wanted to work with a young, vibrant team who resonates with me on a thought process level. So that is one of the major reasons when Flipkart came up and I was able to crack the interview, I took it up. And I've also not been able to crack a few other interviews. So I think people should be aware of the fact that just because you got a rank doesn't mean you have multiple offers coming in. It is still something that you have to work towards and, to crack it and to probably reach the next level as well. Right. So I personally feel that the opportunities have remained the same or have actually increased because the requirement for CES has never gone down. COVID has probably hit different parts of the country and different workforces, but the requirement for CES has largely been constant. The problem is getting the right role that you probably want to get into. That is where people struggle. But opportunities as a whole has probably remained the same. I'd probably go out on a limb and say that opportunities have actually increased, but people are probably not well equipped to capture that yet. I'll probably give you a small insight for that. So what I basically am involved is supply chain, which is eCart. eCart is the supply chain arm of Flipkart, where if you've seen someone deliver goods to your house, eCart does that. So I'm mostly involved with cost optimization and financial planning and analysis, or FP&A as they call it, for supply chain operations. So I'm mostly involved with forecasting and budgeting, how supply chain costs look like for the near future, how has it been in the past, and forecasting trends for the near future. So since it's been only 1 month, this is what I've been involved in, and I probably will get more details, probably 2-3 months more down the line. So one of my favorite subjects was financial reporting. Like I mentioned earlier, I was always interested in Indian accounting standards, IFRS, and all that. Something that we probably work with on a daily basis at Articleship as well. So since I got practical exposure in Ind AS at work, I was able to understand that and probably work on it much better. So I secured 72 marks in financial reporting paper at CA final level. And that is something that I'm always, like I said, interested in, and that translated into marks. So try bridging a gap between whatever you study and the work you do at Articleship. It makes things so much easier. And you'll probably also ultimately end up getting good marks because you like the subject and you know what you're writing in the paper as well.